In my latest video, I've got 3 stories you don't want to miss. Let's dive in. First up, straight from the Crypto Basic, XRP holders are on edge as we count down to June 16th in the Ripple vs. SEC showdown. The tension is real. Will this be a turning point? Next, let's talk about Cointelegraph's latest piece. Dubai real estate sales hit a jaw-dropping $18 billion in May, fueled by the tokenization boom. Interesting, right? But here's the kicker. They completely left out the XRP ledger and its growing influence in Dubai. Seriously? That's a major piece of the puzzle they missed. And if you've been following my channel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is no small deal. It's a game changer. One big move that could solidify the long-term future of XRP and the XRP ledger, yet not a single mention of it in this Cointelegraph article. Seriously, Cointelegraph, what gives? Ignoring something this significant is downright ridiculous. Meanwhile, crypto news is actually paying attention. Ripple is rolling out grants for Japanese Web3 projects building on the XRP ledger. But guess what kinds of projects they're focusing on? Go ahead, take a wild guess. Before we dive deeper, let me be clear. I am not a financial expert. This is absolutely not financial advice. Don't go buying or selling anything just because I said it. Do your own research or don't. That's on you. If you've got an issue with that, well, you know where the exit is. Let's dive into today's big story. 2 major court rulings are on the horizon and they could shake up XRP's price trajectory. Now, let me just say, sure, it's fair to speculate on this, but let's be real. XRP already has legal clarity. The so-called war on crypto, it's done, finished. Even though this case is technically still dragging on, it's not going to change the fundamentals for XRP. Just won't last. That said, perception is a powerful thing. For many, Ripple and XRP are tightly intertwined, so any big news from the courtroom could send ripples, pun intended, through the market. If the crypto market gains momentum and some favorable news drops, we could see XRP surge. Think excitement, think optimism. This is when the market starts moving fast. Let me be clear. I stand by this 100%. XRP has legal clarity no matter how the Ripple case unfolds. Yes, Ripple's situation is Ripple specific, but the market moves as it will. Just calling it like I see it. Now, here's where things get interesting. By June 16th, the SEC must update the U.S. Court of Appeals on its settlement progress with Ripple. Back in April, the court hit pause on the appeal for 60 days to give both sides a chance to hash things out. But here's the kicker. Judge Annalisa Torres recently shut down a motion to lift the injunction blocking XRP sales to institutional investors and refused to lower the $125 million penalty. Judge Torres didn't hold back, pointing to procedural missteps and weak arguments about why a settlement would benefit the public and institutional investors. When this news broke, the XRP community lit up, with many legal minds predicting this very outcome. And honestly, can you blame her frustration? After years of legal back and forth, it's like she's saying, really? After all this time, you want to wave it off with an oops, never mind, not on my watch. It seems Judge Torres is determined to make Ripple and the SEC see this through. No shortcuts allowed. While that may feel like a headache for everyone involved, it could ultimately pave the way for some much needed clarity. Interestingly, the stakes are high. Both Ripple and the SEC have agreed to drop their appeals if the court delivers a favorable indicative ruling. A clean resolution could finally bring some closure to this saga, which would be a win for everyone watching from the sidelines. The clock is ticking for the SEC as the June 16th deadline looms. If they can't secure a settlement indicative ruling by then, they'll have to report their lack of progress to the Court of Appeals. This could kick Ripple into action, requiring them to file an appeal summary brief in response to the SEC's ongoing battle over XRP's programmatic sales. Remember, Judge Torres already ruled that these sales didn't meet the infamous third prong of the Howey test. An important win for Ripple. The pro-crypto lawyer and XRP community favorite Bill Morgan recently weighed in on this critical countdown. He pointed out that with only 12 days left, something has to give, either a settlement breakthrough or the continuation of this legal slog. If nothing happens by then, the appeal and cross-appeal move forward and Ripple will need to file a briefing, he said. Imagine that, a scenario where both sides just want to move on, yet they're dragged back into the trenches. Frustrating, right? While this legal drama might not shake XRP's core fundamentals, the market is a different beast entirely, and as unpredictable as ever, it reminds us. Sometimes the brakes slam harder than we'd like. Remember the headline from May 26th? Dubai unveils real estate tokenization platform on XRP ledger amid $16 billion initiative. Let me tell you, this is huge, game-changing even. Why? Because we're not just talking about tech that's been possible for over a decade. This is real-world adoption finally taking off. Dubai isn't playing around. They're stepping into the future by tokenizing land and title deeds directly on the XRP ledger. Yes, you read that right. Title deeds on the blockchain. Here's the kicker. This isn't just a nice use case for XRP. It's essential. To tokenize and create these title deeds on the XRP ledger, XRP is required. Every transaction, every movement of these assets uses XRP as the fuel to power it all. It's like the engine keeping the entire system running. This is real utility, folks. Real world use cases that prove XRP isn't going anywhere. Dubai is leading the charge, and it's only the beginning. The future is here and it's built on the XRP ledger. We've already won. XRP isn't just a concept anymore. It's a reality, and it's here to stay. The foundation is set, and now it's all about scaling to the next level. But moments like this, they're game changers. Think about it. An actual government has decided to put land records on the XRP ledger. It's not just an idea anymore. It's happening. This is the kind of milestone we've envisioned for years. Proof that what we've believed in all this time is not just possible, but inevitable. This is huge, monumental, and it's only the beginning. Sure, not every use case will land on the XRP ledger, and there isn't going to be one chain to rule them all, but XRP is built to dominate a significant piece of this puzzle. Why? Because it makes sense. The XRP ledger is practically tailor-made for this, lightning-fast transactions at a fraction of a penny. It's efficient, scalable, and perfect for real-world applications like this. Let's talk about something that just makes sense. An immutable ledger, a system where records are transparent, secure, and without a single point of failure. That's the beauty of blockchain. The logic behind it has always been solid, and now we're seeing it expand in exciting ways. Take tokenization of real estate, for example. Turning real-world assets into digital tokens isn't just a future concept. It's happening now. Case in point, Dubai is making waves by embracing blockchain for real estate, and guess what? They've chosen the XRP ledger to make it happen. That's massive. Here's the kicker, though. I came across a Cointelegraph article covering this very topic, and not once did they mention XRP. Not once. With all the buzz around Dubai's decision to use the XRP ledger for tokenization, you'd think it would warrant at least a mention. But nope, nada. It's a glaring omission, and honestly, it's frustrating to see such a key piece of the puzzle overlooked. The big picture here isn't just about the tech. It's about what it means for the future of finance and ownership. Blockchain, tokenization, and platforms like the XRP ledger are laying the foundation for a more efficient, secure, and inclusive global economy. Isn't it wild how some things get completely overlooked? You'd think they'd mention something so important at least once, but nope, not a peep. For a decade now, it feels like there's been an irrational Cold War against XRP and the XRP ledger. It's not everyone, of course, but wow, it's hard to ignore at this point. Anyway, let's dive into something that is getting attention: Dubai's booming real estate market. In May, the market shattered records with jaw-dropping sales volumes and values, hinting at growing investor confidence and a potential leap toward property tokenization. According to Property Finder, Dubai's real estate sector hit a staggering sales value of 66.8 billion dirhams, roughly $18 billion, $200 million, across 18,700 transactions in just 1 month. Year over year, transaction values skyrocketed by 44%, while sales volumes climbed 6%. The primary market stole the show with an eye-popping 314% surge in value compared to May 2024. Meanwhile, secondary sales posted a solid 21% growth. It's clear Dubai's real estate game is on fire, and investors are taking notice. Dubai's real estate market is making waves, and not just for its record-breaking performance. The city is leading the charge in real estate tokenization, opening the door for more investors and redefining property ownership as we know it. This shift is sparking excitement and innovation, and it's easy to see why. Scott Teal, co-founder and CEO of Tokenvest, told Cointelegraph that these milestones highlight Dubai's readiness to embrace cutting-edge solutions like real estate tokenization. And he's not wrong. Dubai isn't just signaling its readiness, it's broadcasting it to the world. How? By publicly announcing its use of the XRP ledger to power this transformation. Talk about putting your money where your mouth is. Dubai's real estate market is on fire, and the numbers say it all. With 60 billion dirhams in transactions in just 1 month, This market isn't just thriving, it's booming with liquidity, dynamism, and endless potential for innovation. And here's where it gets even more exciting. Real estate tokenization is no longer something out of a sci-fi novel. According to Thiel, it's happening now, reshaping how we think about property ownership. Imagine owning a slice of Dubai's skyline, one fraction at a time. Fractionalization is paving the way for smaller, more affordable property shares, attracting both local and global investors like never before. If you've been paying attention, you know this isn't new. Back in 2019, the writing was already on the wall, and guess what? It's finally here. Back in 2019, I called it, our world was set to become more liquid, more dynamic, and more connected. I said, get ready, because hopping in and out of assets will be simpler than ever. Fractional ownership? It's going to explode. Sure. Technically, fractional ownership existed before, but let's be honest, it was a nightmare to execute. The paperwork, the hassle, it just wasn't practical. But now, the game is changing. When you remove the friction, magic happens. Make it seamless, make it instant, and people will engage more. Imagine buying, selling, or owning fractions of assets with just a click. No middlemen, no endless forms. And guess what? That's exactly the world we're moving toward. On the XRP ledger, this transformation is already underway. Why? Because it's tailor-made for this kind of activity. It's fast, efficient, and built for the future. I've been shouting about this since 2019, and now it's incredible to see the world catching up. The XRP community always knew this made sense from day one, and now it's happening. The XRP ledger is becoming the go-to platform for this new wave of financial freedom. Peter Thiel made a bold statement recently, claiming tokenization won't just grow alongside the market, it'll actually fuel its acceleration. Tokenization won't just accompany the next record, we believe it will help drive it, he said. And you know what? He's spot on. While the article didn't mention XRP directly, seriously, how do they keep missing it? Let's be real. It's here, it's real, and it's making waves. Sure, it didn't spell it out, but if you look ahead a decade, don't be surprised if a massive chunk of this tokenized future is running on the XRP ledger. Maybe not all of it, but a significant piece, absolutely. Big news for Web3 in Japan. Ripple is stepping up to fuel innovation by providing grants to Japanese Web3 projects building on the XRP ledger. In a blog post on June 9, Ripple announced its partnership with Web3 Salon, a project backed by Japan's external trade organization and powered by the Asia Web3 Alliance Japan. Together, they're on a mission to empower startups with the tools they need to thrive. Here's the exciting part. Ripple is offering grants of up to $200,000 per project over the next year. The focus, cutting-edge use cases like decentralized finance, DeFi, tokenized real-world assets, think land, property, and beyond, and digital payments. This initiative is part of Ripple's Japan and Korea Fund designed to support XRPL developers with financial, technical, and business resources. You know what this reminded me of while I was reading? It took me back to something I covered on the channel not long ago. There's this guy, Austin King, former Ripple employee, brilliant mind, and all-around trailblazer. Fun fact, he sold his very first company to Ripple and then went on to launch Omni. Talk about a resume, right? Austin's an absolute visionary, especially when it comes to XRP. He's written some incredible thought-provoking pieces on the topic, and one of his key insights stuck with me. He talked about tokenization, how it's a game changer for the long-term success of the XRP ledger. But here's the kicker. He said the real breakthrough will come when we see tokenization flourish in Japan. Why? Because according to him, Japan's market is massive, way bigger and primed for this kind of innovation. Ripple is making big moves, diving headfirst into tokenized real-world assets and driving development in key markets. Imagine scaling this innovation even further. It's a massive market with endless potential. Here's the reality. XRP is already winning. The foundation is set. What we're watching now is the growth story unfold. The more XRP scales and integrates into real-world use cases for people and businesses, the more valuable it becomes. It's simple. As utility grows, so does value. That's why I believe XRP is seriously undervalued. Most people haven't even heard of it. And that's exactly what makes this such an incredible opportunity. We're ahead of the curve, witnessing something massive before the rest of the world catches on. Crypto as an asset class has been around for 16 years, yet the amount of money invested in it is still a drop in the bucket compared to where it's headed. Just imagine, give it a little more time and this space is going to explode. We're living in a truly unique moment in history, a moment with the potential to create life-changing wealth. Opportunities like this don't come along often, not in our lifetimes, maybe not ever again for generations. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor and I'm not telling you what to do. Make your own decisions, do your research, and think it through. But if it's as big as I think it could be, well, history might look back on this as the moment everything changed.